Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flo again here. This is episode 4 of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. So in this episode, we'll talk about the rather open secret, okay, or one of the open secrets in college basketball, no, here in the Philippines, no, and that open secret is all about student athletes being given allowances, as part of their I'm not sure what the right term is, whether it's package or offer or agreement, with the programs for which or for whom that they play. The question, of course. That question we have today is a very interesting question. I mean, again, should allowances be regulated or not? Of course, it's an offshoot, just like the questions we had the past couple of episodes and the questions we're going to have in the future episodes. It's an offshoot of some of the player movements we're observing right now, from high school to college, from one college to another. And of course, everything we're seeing right now naman, it's kumbaga a fruit of the entire college basketball system that has evolved over the past 2-3 decades. So actually, karamihan naman sa mga issues na to na ating napag-usapan na, papag-usapan ngayon at papag-usapan pa, all these actually really just surfaced, and kind of bubbled over the past maybe 2 to 3 decades. Parang lalo siyang umingay, lalo lumaki yung mga issue nito. Siguro, when the Final Four era in the UAAP started, several years after that, maraming big recruits coming into different programs. I mean, recruitment is not new in college basketball, but I guess the more media mileage our college leagues got, the more exposure these happenings or these elements of the college game were actually brought to the to the mindset or the psyche of a lot of people. And it's become part of Philippine sports culture. Pag may elite high school athlete, isa sa mga unang tanong, saan pupunta yan? Saan maglalaro yan? Sa UAAP ba? Sa NC ba? Sa CESAFI ba? Mag-abroad ba yan? Anong balak niyan? Tapos ano bang kulay? Blue, green, sa pula, sa maroon, sa dilaw. Okay? Anong plano niyan? Alright? Now, one big element, I guess, of many student athletes, or one big influence that, kind of makes an impact on the decision-making process of a number of student athletes. Hindi naman kasi lahat, diba? But a number of them, especially the high-profile ones, would be the offers or the packages that, they'll probably get from the programs, Of course, I think the pinaka-basic dyan would be the scholarship, right? The athletic scholarship. Now, may kasama bang dorm? May kasama bang allowance? May kasamang meals? May kasamang transpo? Are there any other elements included in that? Pag nanalo ba ng championship, pupuntang abroad? Mga ganong stuff. Alright? But for now, we'll spotlight mainly just the allowances. Alright? And siguro before we go into our poll results, kasi a few days ago I launched a poll on Twitter about this. But before we even go to that poll, siguro I just want to share something from my own experience. So not as a student athlete getting a package that never happened to me, but as someone who's been a coach in the UAAP and as someone who's been a school administrator as well, these allowances, based on my experience and the exposure I've been to, no, it doesn't really come from the school per se, like a school budget, no, like school budget meetings don't really allot time for, let's say, ito ang budget natin for student allowances. It's not really like that. For student scholarships, yes, or for athlete scholarships, yes. But based on my recollection, parang hindi siya part ng school budget. Normally speaking, at least a school budget that's above board, no. Based on that, ang assumption ko na lang is that it's the boosters who take care of this, no. Of course, it's an open secret that each school has either one or a group or an army of boosters or backers, diba? Sometimes it's one big group backing all the sports. Sometimes it's one person or one booster backing a particular team, another one backing another team from the same school. May mga ganun yan eh. Okay, but now that that's done, let's look at some poll results that we have now. So what I asked on Twitter was, should college varsity athletes' allowances or recruitment offers or benefits be regulated? And based on what the results you see on screen, 76%, overwhelmingly, more than 3/4 of people who responded to this poll said that yes, it should be regulated. Okay, more than 3/4 said it should be regulated. For me, that's very interesting, and definitely worth talking about. Let's spotlight some fan comments. First, this is a comment from a follower named Derek Relucio. He said, "Sir, sa pros, di rin ma-regulate. Paano pa kaya sa college?" All right. Okay, that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment from Derek, no? But it does make you think. I mean, at the pro level, of course, there are hard and fast rules, salary caps, and all those things, no? But I'm not sure if open secret is the right term for it, no? But we've heard so many things from the grapevine, no? Rumors, some credible, some the other way, na these salary caps, at least for some teams, aren't strictly followed. May mga rumors na pag nanalo ng championship, bibigyan nila ng backpack yung player, yung backpack punong-puno ng pera or mga envelope, di ba? Again, rumors. Okay, rumors. I myself have never seen that happen firsthand. But these are things you hear, things you read online, in group chats, in forums. And sometimes, if these rumors appear frequently enough, maybe we might be tempted to actually believe them already. All right? Especially if some insiders are the ones who actually give some credibility to those rumors, diba? Here's another comment from Maki27. A player will choose a school based on benefits that he can get. Ateneo and Lasal lang dati ang matindi magbigay. Ngayon pati UP na. Okay, now of course, a stereotype with Ateneo and Lasal is that these are rich schools with big backers and bottomless pockets and stuff like that. No? I'm not sure how true that is. I don't think that's really true. No? At least in terms of having bottomless coffers or pockets. No? May mga budget lahat yan. Ateneo pa yan o Lasal. May mga finite budget lahat din. But again, dito papasok kasi yung boosters, diba? And I guess in some schools, the boosters, I guess, are a bit more involved and maybe a bit more passionate than others. No? Ngayon, kita-kita natin na parang UP's boosters and backers kind of have really consolidated, and parang yung support nila for the UP, at least the men's basketball program, no? Their support for the men's basketball program has really become very, very strong compared to what we saw in the 90s, in the thousands, even in the mid 2010s, no? Parang talagang nag-gain ng steam yan, no? I guess in 2018 maybe and onwards. All right, that's when we saw the likes of big-time players. Kobe Paras coming in, Richie Rivero coming in, and then eventually all these big names coming in. Carl Tamaya eventually coming in, Coach Goldwyn coming in as well, and eventually this year, they just announced a bevy of recruits going to Diliman. You have Seven Gagate, Luis Pablo, Josh Coronel, Sean Alter, Darren Bahay, among others. So, yan, malaki na talaga ang parang backing ng UP ngayon. Alright? Now next, ito natawa ko. Speaking of UP, okay, this one comes from Francis. Ang Twitter handle niya ay Bonzi1645. And his comment is simply, "This is one of the reasons why." And then he attached a short clip from one of the vlog episodes of Mikey Reyes. Okay, and this is when Mikey interviewed former UP point guard, June Manzo, and I think this clip basically here parang sinasabi yata ni June na iba si Gov. Okay, parang ang pagkakarinig ko parang may bigayan ng kotse or something. I don't know. Okay, but I'm sure that clip is somewhere on the internet, and you can just look for that and watch it for yourself. Take it as you would, no. But this is an interesting comment from Francis, no. It appears like maybe there are some perks or benefits that are better than others or bigger than others, so to speak. If we're going to really believe everything that was said in this interview, in this clip. So we'll see. All right, next. I'd like to spotlight this comment from someone I think most of you know. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can hear our dogs now, but they're barking. I'm not sure if you can hear them right now. Ayan. This one is from Rafe Bartholomew. Of course, one of the foremost scribes of Philippine basketball back when he was still here in the Philippines. A prophet of Philippine basketball, so to speak, si Kuya Paeng, Rafe Bartholomew. His comment is, "No, sir. Basketball patrons will make lusot to continue paying, and administrators will just have more chances to penalize players in petty disputes. The host school every season will come up with some creative new way to jam up a rival player's career to benefit their own goals." So for Rafe, para ang dating ng regulation, it's actually going to open things up for potential abuse or for potential, or ang mapapenalize lang dito are yung players. And people in power will find ways to circumvent the system, to find loopholes, no matter what the regulation is. All right? I kind of agree with that, actually, Rafe. Lastly, and this is from someone I'm hoping to guest on the podcast soon. Board top-notcher, attorney Mickey Ingles. Handle niya on Twitter is Mickey Ingles Law. Please follow him. And of course, his website is batassportiva.com. And his comment is very, very simple. There's a law for that, but not exactly implemented. But I heard the UAAP set a cap on allowances 2 years ago. Now, that's the first time I've heard na may cap palang allowances sa UAAP. I'm not sure what the implementation, enforcement rules and regulations are actually on that. And that's why I want to guest Attorney Mickey on the podcast soon. So, Attorney, if you're listening, if you're watching, I hope to get you on the pod really, really soon. But yeah, there's a law on that. And if I'm not mistaken, it was actually Senator Pia Cayetano who was one of the proponents. If I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, of that law, on looking at regulating allowances, perks, and benefits for the protection din of student athletes. All right, so much rich discussion, and again, I hope to guest some of these people on the pod soon so that we can dissect these things in a bit of a deeper, more meaningful way. Now, honestly, ang takeaway ko dito right now is this issue of regulating allowances or benefits or perks for student athletes. It's complex and controversial, diba? On one hand, it can do a lot of good. It can maybe level the playing field. On the other hand, it might actually unintentionally open some avenues for abuse, diba? So yun, on one hand, proponents of this kind of regulation will argue that allowing athletes to receive compensation beyond scholarships is kind of like exploitation already. On the other hand, opponents of regulation argue that allowing athletes to receive compensation, or regulating allowances like this could actually cause again more abuse to actually happen, and that's where things can get crazy. If we don't regulate it, it can lead to a breakdown of the amateur model, and compromise the integrity of college sports. But again, ultimately, it's very complex, very complicated, and that's why I hope we have a follow-up episode on this. Now, building on this episode, we're going to discuss other interesting topics. Okay, like is the concept of amateur sports actually outdated or dead already? Should student athletes publicly announce their commitments only after graduation or only after they actually pass entrance exams? Okay, as always, we'll spotlight some fan comments on these big issues. Our next episode drops tomorrow, so watch out for that. So mabuhay ang Philippine basketball, mabuhay tayong lahat. See you in our next episode.
Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA.basketball. Follow me on Twitter at Hoopnut or Instagram at The Hoopnut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball.